He was brought here to work basically as a slave for the rebels.
It's Valentine's season!
Yeah, love is in the air, right? It's that time of year where if you're a beautiful girl like Mariana, people are giving you flowers and chocolates and gift cards. And if you're a guy like myself trying to win the affection of a girl like Mariana, then you're sending flowers and chocolates and gift cards.
Good luck, dude.
Thanks.
And I was actually reading the other day that about a billion cards are sent every year during Valentine's all around the world. It's a crazy number. And 85% of those cards are sent by women.
Whoa.
You know, not by men. The other 15% are probably sent by Kiyash alone.
True, but all jokes aside, there actually is a price that we pay for all that commerce of love. And so in today's show, we're going to be doing things a little differently. We're going to have two parts, both that highlight the underbelly of the Valentine's Day industry.
Yeah, we're basically going to show you two of the biggest symbols of love, roses and diamonds. So in the first part, Larsen will take us to Colombia to take a look at where roses come from.
And in the second half of our show, Mariana is going to take you to Sierra Leone to talk about the nefarious history of the diamond trade in that country.
So take a look at Vanguard's investigation into blood roses and deadly diamonds.
Flowers and Valentine's Day. The two exist hand in hand as a celebration of love and romance. The rose in particular has been an oft-used metaphor for romance from Shakespeare to Hallmark cards. This is a story about the real roots of this romantic icon. So it's like 6:30 a.m. and I'm in the Southern California flower market. And what this is like all around me, like a bunch of warehouses, which are like the wholesale distribution point for all the flowers that go out to LA and Southern California. Yeah, you could really score some points at a place like this. Why do people love flowers so much?
Roses were at one time coined love buds, and so they've got a real romantic flavor to them.
It kind of speaks for itself. They're beautiful, and I think it's a luxury to have fresh cut flowers in your home every week.
What do you import the most of? Roses?
Roses.
Why roses?
Why roses? Roses is the popular flower. It's always been that way. It's always the whole world like that. So if you're going to ask me about the color, why red? Well, red stands for the love, and yeah, that's why everybody wants red roses for Valentine's Day. And that's why you have ridiculous prices for Valentine's Day, because the price pretty much quadruples from what it normally is.
If you're a good grower, you can have your flowers picked on the field from one day, have them land in Miami the next day, and then have them here in Southern California that night or the day after.
It is really beautiful and gorgeous in here, but the old expression, every rose has its thorns, right? It makes you wonder, what are the thorns of this industry? What's the downside? How come they all come from Colombia?
Well, they also come from Ecuador too, but we like more for Colombia because they're a little bit bigger, the heads, they're a little bit bigger.
So I picked up our resident Colombian on staff, and we headed off to find out more about the business. Flowers worldwide are an $8.5 billion industry, and Colombia has almost $1 billion of that market. So we're descending into Bogota right now, which is the capital city of Colombia, and on the outskirts of the city you can see all these white patches, and those are the greenhouses where all the flowers are cultivated.
People think of Colombia and they think of narco-trafficking, paramilitary, the FARC, and drug wars and kidnapping, but this is the Colombia that I know.
We went to speak with the chairman of Azoco Flores, which is an industry trade association that represents many of the flower companies. We asked the chairman about a country trying to replace an illegal crop with a legal one.
Flowers are not a direct alternative crop to cocaine, to coca or other of these listed crops, because those are grown in the tropical jungles of Colombia. And the flowers are grown in the highlands near Bogota or in the Medellin area. But indirectly, we think that we do contribute because we are employing so many people, no? And many of these people are rural people who would otherwise, if they don't have employment, they would probably end up either in the coca fields or in other sorts of illegal activities. So indirectly, we are certainly contributing.
We went firsthand to see some of the Azoco Flores farms.
¿Cómo está? ¿Tenemos de azul flores?
Jill's not really interested in the flowers, but she hears there's great coffee here. You know?
First coffee.
Azoco Flores helped put in perspective for us really how big the industry truly is.
Este invernadero es un invernadero de pruebas.
We've been in only 2 greenhouses, right? They're huge, they're massive, and you can see there's just like flowers all around you, and this is just one of 20, 25 greenhouses at this particular farm. So the industry is huge, it's massive, but it's also kind of a personal industry because you can't buy a machine that just comes and tells which flower is ready. Like, you gotta have all these workers to come cut them and make it work.
He just pointed out that this whole area is in preparation for Valentine's Day.
Estamos ganando 14, 15 mil pesos es el día.
En los Estados Unidos, ¿sabes cuánto lo venden?
La verdad no sé.
Unos $50
por ramo. Sí.
This board shows how many roses, how many bouquets each worker is producing, and basically within a week for Valentine's Day they have to produce 70,000 bouquets. Right now they have 23,000 left.
Over 200 million roses are sold in the week before Valentine's Day. Only 14% of workers belong to any sort of union.
¿Y a qué hora empezaste?
A las 7:30 de la mañana.
So she started work today at 7 and 7:30, and she's not leaving till midnight.
We went to speak with an organization called Cactus, a non-profit dedicated to helping advocate for workers' rights in the rose industry.
Entonces ahora, si me puedes decir los problemas que han sucedido con las personas, con la salud de los trabajadores.
La producción de flores en Colombia se hace bajo invernadero. Esas condiciones hacen que los químicos además se concentren, porque el invernadero son casas de plástico donde la gente queda dentro y fumigan y no cumplen estándares básicos, tiene efectos de todo tipo. Exponerse permanentemente a los agroquímicos puede que en el momento no tenga efectos. En la última encuesta que nosotros desarrollamos encontramos pocos casos donde para contratar a las mujeres les están exigiendo que tengan un certificado de ligadura de trompas.
Oh my gosh.
Explain that.
Okay, so basically what she just said is that one thing that they've discovered, there's only 9 cases, but they've asked in order to contract these women that they have the surgery to have their fallopian tubes tied, and that's the only way that they can have the job.
Wait, what?
Yes, that's what.
So the employers are aware of the negative effects of the chemicals.
Yo creo que tiene que ver más con la rentabilidad, con la producción,
Okay.
con los efectos de los químicos, no tienen que ver.
Okay. So she's saying that it really doesn't have anything, that she doesn't think it has anything to do with the chemicals, but basically because they want more productivity, they want these women to work more.
Colombia's kind of a good mix of cosmopolitan and donkey cart.
Cactus had warned us that it would be hard to talk to the workers in the factory, so they set us up to go talk to a woman who had once worked at a farm in the savannas of Bogota. I met Anabel, who claims she had been paralyzed on the left side of her body from injuries sustained while carrying flower boxes in the factory.
Si yo le abro los dedos, solo los abre, pero si los cierro, no sabía qué hacer. Para mí era muy doloroso, porque yo no podía creer lo que me pasaba. Fue un proceso donde yo no quería aceptar mi vida siquiera. Sí. No solamente mis hijos quedaban a la deriva, sino todo, mis sueños, porque estaba acostumbrada a ser muy independiente. Sí. Y tener que aprender a depender de los demás fue muy duro.
Azoka Florist has a program called Flor Verde, Green Flower, where the workers are educated, they're paid a better wage, and the flowers are cultivated with an eco-consciousness that's not found in the rest of the industry.
The Association of Growers created a program called Flor Verde that has addressed the issue of many things. I mean, welfare for the workers and environmentally friendly production. So one of the issues has been like measuring the amounts of pesticides that companies use and comparing companies between them, like benchmarking, make them to compete in order to be cleaner. And today we are 50% less than what we used in '98. And our goal in the next 3 years is to get into 70% as an average for 150 companies that are participating.
You can't really see it, but like there's these little teeny orange bugs on this leaf, and what those are some of the pests that they're trying to prevent from eating the roses.
Nosotros sembramos aquí el pepino.
This is like their laboratory where they're experimenting with clean ways to control the pests. I showed you before like all of the greenhouses, right? And this is one greenhouse, and you can see this room is about, I don't know, 30 by 40 or something like that. And so this is the one room where they don't use pesticides. It's an attempt, right? Like they are definitely trying to find innovative ways to reduce their pesticide use, but it's still a business, and Valentine's and Mother's Day are still coming up, and you still got to produce flowers. So that's why there's one of these greenhouses and 50 of those greenhouses. What we're doing is we're actually driving from Bogota to Medellin.
I don't know how much progress we're making right now.
We're not getting off to the smoothest start. We got about 50 yards down the road and pop, our car broke down. We're at the airport, we're flying. Going to Medellin. We traveled from Bogota to Medellin. Medellin is a city in transition. It's trying to make a conversion from the extreme violence of its past to a modern-day city.
Medellin especially is a place that used to be pretty well known for narco-trafficking. It used to be one of the epicenters of the coke trade. Colombia is in somewhat of a transition period, and the floral economy is part of that transition.
We're in the home of Darío Córdoba, who's actually a toxicologist, and he wrote this book. Obviously, you can see he's an expert in the subject.
Los insecticidas y en general todos los agroquímicos ingresan al organismo por varias vías. Está la vía oral, está la vía dérmica y está la vía inhalatoria. Para los que rodeamos como personas que tenemos vivienda cerca a los cultivos, la vía inhalatoria sería la más peligrosa.
We started our journey in the LA flower market, traveled to the fields of Bogota and to the mountains of Medellin. Along the way, the beauty of the flowers never left us, but we left with a darker understanding of the industry that cultivates them. As we left Colombia, the words of the 35th Shakespearean sonnet seemed an appropriate reminder of the beauty and the perils of these flowers. No more be grieved at that which thou hast done. Roses have thorns and silver fountains mud. Clouds and eclipses stain both moon and sun, and loathsome canker lives in sweetest bud.
You see the mine right here? January 99, and this was on the 6th. That fateful morning, the rebels actually hit Freetown and started shooting at everything and anything in sight. You know, it was like music. When we dared to look outside the windows, you could see blood flowing on the streets. You know, by then they've killed a lot of people. And, you know, I finally decided I want to go out and I want to film what's going on.
My friend Soria Samora, a Sierra Leonean journalist, captured some of the most horrific images of his country's civil war.
It was complete, total madness. Total madness.
For over a decade, a rebel army called the Revolutionary United Front, or RUF, battled to overthrow the government of Sierra Leone, whom they accused of corruption. Backed by Liberian strongman Charles Taylor, the RUF became even more powerful when they seized control of Sierra Leone's most valuable resource, diamonds. The precious stones bought weapons and supplies that fueled a campaign of terror, which left over 100,000 Sierra Leoneans dead and thousands of others maimed. Hence the phrase, blood diamond. After the rebels suffered a series of defeats, a ceasefire was finally negotiated, and in 2002, the civil war was officially declared over. Nearly 5 years later, I traveled to Sierra Leone. I wanted to see if the diamonds that helped destroy the country were now helping it to recover.
We're heading to Kono, which is the diamond region of Sierra Leone. It's in the east of the country, and it's an 8-hour drive from Freetown. We're halfway there.
Koidu is the capital of the Kono district. Since diamonds were first discovered here 70 years ago, mining has been the lifeblood of this town.
So I'm standing on the main road of Koidu, and you can see that right next to it, they're mining over there. I mean, it's less than 100 yards away.
It is exactly because this region is so rich in diamonds that the RUF fought so hard to control it. Everywhere, the destruction is still evident.
During the war, Kono, this region, suffered the most, and all throughout the region there are houses like this behind me that were completely burnt down, and families that have returned after the war moved into these houses and are now sort of squatting in the ruins.
Despite the millions of dollars worth of stones that are mined here every year, Kono remains desperately poor, lacking even the most basic of amenities. There's no running water, there's no electricity. At night, shops have to rely on candles or generators.
We're going to meet with a miner and follow him to work today. Hello, Joseph. How are you?
I'm good. How you say?
Joseph is one of thousands of young men here for whom mining is the only means of survival.
This is where you live, Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we go see?
Okay.
How many people are stay here with you?
3 people.
3 people. You, 2, and 2 more?
Yeah.
So there are 3 people sleeping in this bed, and this is pretty much it. I mean, it's sort of a room, very small room. There's a bed. You all work at the mines?
Yes.
He wakes up at 6:30 in the morning, and then you leave at 7 to go to the mine every morning.
I set off for work with Joseph and his roommate, Usman.
So this is what they do every morning. They walk for an hour and a half to work, and they get there, they work for 8 hours, and then they walk an hour and a half back every morning. Every day, right?
Yeah, every day.
You see the mine right here?
We were the first to arrive at the mine.
Joseph is 27 years old. He's from the south of the country, and he was captured by the rebels when he was only 15 years old. He was brought here to work basically as a slave for the rebels, mining diamonds, just like thousands of other young people and children all around Sierra Leone, and many of them are still working here today, just like Joseph.
As the other diggers began to arrive, Joseph joined his crew.
Over 80% of the diamonds that come out of Sierra Leone are mined like this through artisanal mining, in which there's not much cost involved. You know, all you need is a shovel, a sifter, or shake as they call it, and that's pretty much it. And all of these pits that you see here were all dug by hand. It's just brute labor, you know.
For his labor, Joseph earns 30 cents and 2 cups of rice a day. He barely survives unless he finds a diamond, in which case he gets only a tiny percentage of its worth.
When was the last time you found a diamond?
Well, for now, it'll take me over 2 months.
2 months that you haven't found any diamonds? So for 2 months now you've only been making 30 cents a day.
But these days, Joseph says, life is, quote, heaven compared to the 7 years he spent working for the RUF.
Work all day. And if you not get blessed yourself for the whole day, fag you no more, So you go shoot back na head, you work for good, you know. So the fire, ground fire. And I know say now you say you don't go thief diamond. That electric cable there, and they make, and they beat you with. They beat you till you die.
Did you see people die?
Yes, they beat people before we eat.
Today, miners may not be working under the barrel of a gun, but life is still very difficult.
It's 10 a.m. and it's already really hot. I'd say it's like 90 degrees here, and these guys have been working for at least 2 hours now. And they're going to continue doing this for 6-7 hours more, and all for 30 cents a day and 2 cups of rice.
It is inhuman, actually. You need to have somebody working for over 8 hours, with that amount of money. And food.
Mohammed Jabi is a local youth leader who advocates for better working conditions in the mines and a fairer cut of the trade for diggers. He says diggers have little knowledge of the true value of their finds.
They don't know figures, so how can they interpret it?
They don't even know numbers.
They don't know numbers, most of them.
So Mr. Jabi here is saying that most of the miners, most of the diggers, they're called diggers here, haven't gone to school, so they don't even know numbers. When they do find a diamond, they turn it over to the manager who weighs it. So
if it is 20 karat and they tell them this is 18 or it is 15, they say, okay, no problem.
Jabi works with the Integrated Diamond Management Program, a US-funded project that aims to teach miners how to appraise diamonds.
So these are first quality diamonds, is not so?
Usually it's the diamond buyers in the region who dictate the prices. But Jabi hopes these classes will help miners negotiate better deals and keep a fairer share of a diamond's value.
So this is the practical side of the training, where they're here learning how to evaluate diamonds according to the cut, the carat, the weight, and the shape of the diamond.
These are not real diamonds, these are just simulants.
For all the talk of diamonds, I had yet to see a single real stone.
I'm a bushman.
John Kareem is a local diamond buyer.
What do you have there today then? Can I come
Yeah,
around?
sure, come around.
Sit down.
Yeah.
So John says he has a small batch of diamonds here to show us today. These are 3 diamonds, they're 3 carats. Can I put it back there?
Yeah, sure.
Handle it with care.
Kareem showed me the documents needed to legally trade diamonds, which are subject to a 3% export tax in Sierra Leone. Last year, the country exported $140 million worth of stones. That's up from just $1.2 million in 1999 during the height of the war. But still, little of the money is trickling down to the people of Kono.
If you look at Kono district, they call it the breadbasket of this nation. But what can you point at? Nothing. You don't have better infrastructures are not there. The roads are not good. There is no water supply for pipeline water. There is no electricity. So we are not benefiting. That is why some people say diamond is a curse to this district. It's not a blessing, it's a curse.
So Joseph, do you want to keep on mining, or what do you want to do in the future?
Well, for now, Mr. Sebre, so I do so. The money me really, because Mr. Sebre, if now God don't help me now, I don't able to get diamond money. I forbid don't go home. I make a really sit down. So we sit down no more. I don't take my shovel. Don't go on site. For fena no more. But till now, God no able give my it. I make a dinner area first.
So thanks for watching our Valentine's Day buzzkill.
If you want to watch this or any other Vanguard stories, you can check us out at current.com/Vanguard. Thanks for watching.
See more Vanguard Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on Current or online at current.com/Vanguard.